Hey everyone, welcome to ET. I'm Leanne Aguilera, and I'm joined right now by the one and only Danielle Panabaker.
Hi.
It's so good to see you.
I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Of course.
Congratulations,
Thank
Danielle.
you.
For those of you who have been living underneath a rock, it is Danielle Panabaker's directorial debut in tonight's episode of The Flash. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
We're going to be taking your fan questions, so start sending them in to me, and I will pass them along to Danielle. But kicking things off, when did you first get that spark that you knew that you wanted to step behind the camera?
I think I've always been fascinated by, everything that goes into creating a movie or an episode of television. It's something I've paid attention to for years. And then in season 3 of The Flash, I got to watch Tom Cavanaugh direct. And he's obviously a friend and has sort of turned into a mentor. And watching him direct in season 3 was really incredible. And I started asking questions and saying, is this something that I could do? So in season 4, he directed season 4, episode 4, I Shadowed Him, which was really educational and informative. And at that point, I started to feel like I was ready to take it on.
And so I understand that there are different steps that you had to do in order to kind of get prepared for that, and Warner Brothers really helped you out with that. What was that process like?
It was great. I was very lucky. I was incredibly supported. Greg Berlanti asked me probably in January of last year if I'd be interested in directing, and I said, of course, absolutely. Yeah. And the support I got from Greg and Todd Helbing, our executive producer, was really incredible. So last summer, I did a program through Warner Brothers, and it's their directing program, and it was a 9-week program all summer. And they sort of walk you through step by step everything that these two incredible women, it's taught by 2 female directors,
Amazing.
Which is awesome, Bethany Rooney and Mary Lou Belli, and they're wonderful. They could be tough at times, but they were great teachers. And between shadowing and the program and then reading as much as I could and asking advice from as many people as I could, I got to direct this year.
I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
Tom obviously is such an incredible director, and he's done so many episodes of The Flash so far. What was the biggest piece of advice that you were able to glean from him?
He gave me a lot of advice. It was really more in watching him work, though. He's a very generous director, and he's a very collaborative director. Sometimes directors can come in and it's their vision and it's their way or the highway. But with Tom, he really works with everyone to bring their best foot forward. And I tried to emulate that, as I was directing, as well as collaborating with everyone and trying to see what their best ideas were. And it's always, the best idea wins. It doesn't matter whose idea it is.
I love the fact that we're seeing you step behind the camera and that you are the first female from the CW Arrowverse to do so. This is such a big deal.
I didn't realize that until you said it at Comic-Con last year. I was blown away. It's crazy. And that never occurred to me while I was trying to direct and, doing everything I could. But I've actually been really impressed by, since the announcement was made that I was directing, I've really been impressed by the number of women who've reached out to me and said, I'm interested in directing, how did you do it? And being able to sort of pay it forward and support them in that way.
That's amazing.
It's been great. It's like something I wasn't expecting at all.
As you've gone, you're typically in front of the camera.
Yes.
And you're stepping behind the camera, but you're also still in front of the camera.
Yes.
What was the most challenging aspect that you learned?
Every day presented a different challenge. It was funny. My friend Beth Schwartz, who's a showrunner on Arrow, I was texting her at one point just a little bit frustrated with the way some things had gone. And she said, TV directing is all about, being malleable and working with whatever problem solving. And, every day was a new challenge. My first day of directing was the day where I had to direct myself. It was only one day in the episode where I had to direct myself. And of course, everybody said, try and make your first day easy. Well, because of scheduling, we couldn't do that. And so my first day was not only directing for the first time, but also directing myself, which I didn't love. I really just wanted to be a director. I wanted to sit and watch the monitors and make sure I was getting the performances I needed and the camera was getting what I needed it to. And it was difficult not to be able to watch that.
Was Danielle just the absolute worst person
She was.
to direct?
She forgot her lines a couple of times. She might have been a little distracted, but that's okay.
The coolest thing about tonight's episode...
I was talking about myself. I was not talking about Danny Nicolay.
Oh,
who's
no!
Unbelievable and so talented.
I still always forget that it's 2 Danielles because I call her Danny as well.
It was so funny. We were shooting something last week that was Grant, 2 Jesses, and 2 Dannys.
And as we care for the finale.
Yes.
Tonight's episode is really special, though. You got to direct something that's totally different. You're directing Nora's origin episode. When Todd told you that that was going to be your episode, what was your initial reaction?
I was really excited. You know, I think Jessica's been unbelievable on the show this year. I mean, she's really done a lot of the heavy lifting, and she's had an incredible storyline. And I was excited to get to collaborate and work with her just to begin with. And, you know, I also really wanted to do well for her. And again, she's in almost every scene of this episode, and she really shines. So it was great. It was also, you know, we're basically it's basically Nora's pilot without it being a pilot. So it was it was ambitious. There were a lot of things that we had to accomplish in one episode, but it was great. I loved it.
Well, I got to see a sneak peek of tonight's episode, and I saw a rough cut, and it had a lot of things in it that you don't typically get to see in the finalized product. And you see men on wires, and you see the actual stunts, and it really makes you realize, oh my gosh, they're actually throwing these men around. They're not doing this in post. Was that challenging for you as a director to orchestrate all that?
I mean, something like that is really informative because you begin to understand, you know, how many hundreds, if not thousands of people work on an episode of television to make it come together and look great. And that was honestly one of the most enjoyable aspects of directing for me, was collaborating with all these different departments in a very different way. You know, going to our stunt coordinator, John Kralt, and saying, all right, here's my idea. And he would think about it and he'd come back with a way to make it even better. And so, you know, when you see a rough cut, you do see all the wires. You see where all the visual effects are going in later, and you begin to understand like how much the actors are sort of acting to nothing and just using their imagination. You know, for us, Gorilla Grodd is just a tennis ball on the end of the stick. So,
and then when you see him afterwards,
you're
like, oh my God, they did a great job.
Absolutely.
Great tennis ball. Oh, I still loved that episode of King Shark. I thought it was really great.
I did too. King Shark and Gorilla Grodd, I mean, so ambitious, but I mean, shout out to Armin and his special effects team. Like, they did an incredible job.
Yeah. We're starting to get in so many amazing fan questions in right now. Yaz A says, did you choose the episode that you got to direct because it was going to be this big episode, or did you not want to know what it was beforehand?
No, I mean, so when they assign directors, they have a schedule, and they're sort of fitting directors into this schedule, and there's almost no way of knowing what episode you're going to direct. Like, you know, obviously the premiere is a big episode, and the crossover is a big episode, and the finale is a big episode, but you never know where in there you're going to fall. Sometimes you'll get a smaller episode, sometimes you get a bigger one. So when they assigned me episode 18, I had no idea where it was going to fall on the spectrum.
And here it is.
Yes, and here it was. I got essentially, you know, I got Nora's origin story, which to me is really important.
Yeah. Jared Vander Poel. Sorry, Jared. Wants to know, what was your favorite part of directing episode 18?
I think, like I said before, getting to collaborate with all the different departments in a new, unique way. You know, everybody, obviously the actors are incredibly talented on Flash, and you see that every week, but there's so many people behind the scenes that do great work, and getting to, you know, work with them and collaborate and come up with cool ideas was great.
Switching over into some Killer Frost questions. Fandom Guy wants to know, Panna Baker, do you like playing Killer Frost evil or the Killer Frost on Team Flash? And what do you think is more in store for Caitlin in the love department?
In terms of Killer Frost, I actually have really loved her storyline this year. I feel like they did a great job sort of developing the relationship between Caitlin and Killer Frost. These two people, these two very distinct, very different people who also happen to occupy the same body. And I feel like it was really cool to see their relationship evolve as they were leaving notes for each other, you know, and there was some tension when Killer Frost was destroying Caitlin's work. So it was cool. It was great. I loved seeing that. And I'm interested in sort of where she is now, and that she is a member of Team Flash, but sometimes she's a little disgruntled about it. Sometimes she's not so thrilled about it.
I love when there's like the random telepathic moments where she's like, here we go. Nope, she's out.
Yeah, nope, she's tapping out for this one, not interested. So I think it's cool. It's been really fun.
Yeah. As for Caitlin's love life?
I don't know. I don't know that that's, I feel like the relationship she's been focused on this year is her relationship with Killer Frost, so sort of her relationship with herself. So I don't know if there's romance for her this season, but maybe next year.
How have you been feeling about Killer Frost's look this year? Because she's a little different.
It's cool. It's different. You know, I want a new suit.
I was going to say, I want a new suit. That was my next question.
You know, the season 4 suit was was different than the season 3 suit, and I want a new suit. Absolutely. So it's, you know, Killer Frost is a little bit like Vibe in that she, and like most of the superheroes, that she has to go somewhere and put her suit on. Like Flash has to put his suit on. So I'm excited to see what her suit looks like whenever she gets it.
Have you been brainstorming?
Yes. Absolutely. I like, and hopefully this is a little bit evident in the episode I directed as well, you know, I got the villain of Godspeed, and the first thing I did was go to the comic books. So it's the same thing with the Killer Frost suit. Like, we have such a wealth of source material there, like, why not start there for some inspiration?
Yeah. Oh, I love it. And Godspeed, it looks so cool.
He looks fantastic.
Very futuristic, but also very menacing.
Yes.
Very clean.
Yes, very clean. That was a white suit.
Yeah. We're getting so much love for you right now. Taha says, go Danielle, with like so many little green hearts. Biter Allen says she deserves all of this. 3 heart eye emojis and 1 crying emoji.
Oh, thanks, guys. I do have to say, like, the support I have felt over the last 6 months to a year as I've been on this journey has been incredible, both from friends and family and the fans. Like, I am so very grateful. So thanks, guys.
We have another question from Ration Minds 78. Would you direct a movie since you tried your hand on directing an episode of The Flash?
I would love to. I feel like, you know, I'm still learning. I feel like I learned a lot over my first experience directing. You know, it's a rarity to be able to step behind the camera in that position. Like, you are so lucky to be given this opportunity, and that was not lost on me. So I want to keep directing. I want to keep directing Flash. I'd love to maybe go to some of the other CW shows, Warner Brothers shows, and yes,
Throw
absolutely.
one out right now. Let's make this happen.
I mean, I would totally love to direct Riverdale. It's cool. Like, it's got a really specific vibe, which I love.
Yeah.
So something like that. And
Casey
then, yes,
would love that.
it would be great.
Yeah.
I would love it. I think it would be fun. And, like, you know, it's all sort of in that Berlanti universe. So hopefully they let me come play.
I think you would also be amazing at Supergirl.
Oh, thank you. I would love to direct Supergirl as well. I feel like that show, in terms of, like, our sort of Arrowverse world, is most similar to Flash. Arrow can be a little bit more action heavy, and Legends is a bit more, you know, they're fun. They're a little more wacky for sure.
Yeah.
But I think Supergirl would fit really naturally.
Let's talk a little bit about tonight's episode, because when we last left off, it was a big bombshell that Nora has been chatting with Eobard Thawne.
And Reverse Flash. Not great.
We've known it as the audience for quite some time, but this is a really big shock to Barry and Iris, and now they're trying to process this news. Where do we go from here?
I mean, it is a big deal, and I think it's sort of nice that we give these parents and this couple some time to process it. You know, we open the episode with it almost being a fight between Barry and Iris, because they don't see it the same way. Like, Barry experienced watching this man, Eobard Thawne, kill his mother right in front of him when he was a child. And, you know, I don't know that he's even gotten over that yet. And then to find out that his daughter is now working with this man is such a dagger to him. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge for them to work through as a couple and as parents.
What can you tease? You guys are all wrapped on season 5.
Barely, by the skin of our teeth.
I was going to say, how was it? How are you feeling about this finale? What can you tease for the fans?
The finale is going to be epic. I'm always blown away. It feels like year after year they try and find a way to top themselves. A lot of night shoots last week to get everything we needed. But I think it's going to be great.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy that Arrow is ending next year.
Yes.
This has been the mothership. This is what launched the CW verse, and then Flash came along shortly after.
Certainly been a model for Flash as well. You know, the way they do, you know, the first 9 episodes are really big, and like a lot of, you know, I was able to look to a lot of the people on Arrow and see how they were handling things.
Well, and we first met Caitlin on Arrow.
Yes. So it still doesn't quite feel real, because it's like, okay, we'll go back in the summer and we'll keep going and we'll keep filming. They'll still be there, but I'm sure it will hit me at some point.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty sad.
Have they told you anything about what you can expect from the crossover next year?
Whew. I mean, I remember...
the fans are already asking about it.
Mark made an announcement, I think it was at TCAs or something earlier this year, that they were going to be bigger than ever. And I was like, oh no.
They're exhausting.
They are exhausting. They're a challenge. But guys, we do it for you. We do it for the fans, for sure. I think, honestly, I'm not sure how much they've broken those stories yet. The writer's room, I think, just opened for season 6, like maybe yesterday. So they're barely getting started. So I truly don't know much.
But you just answered Jessie's question. She said, I love you so much, Danielle, and I love your show, but is this the last season of The Flash?
No, this is not the last season of The Flash. We're very lucky. We'll be starting season 6 in a couple months, and not very long. So we'll definitely be around for at least one more year.
And you get to relax on your hiatus.
Yes. I'm happy to be home. I just got home last night. And very happy to be here.
Well, I really appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much
pleasure.
for always.
Anytime.
And thank you so much to the fans. Be sure to check in tonight to The Flash to see Danielle's directorial debut. It airs Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on the CW. We'll see you next time.
Bye guys. Thank you.